Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I am pleased to rise today to speak to Bill 47, the Automobile Insurance Act. I'm not pleased with the content of the bill. Privately delivered, no-fault model is not a win-win for Albertans. It is potentially a lose-lose. Higher premiums, lower benefits. That's what it's at risk. We did just hear the minister acknowledge that high and escalating insurance rates in Alberta required the government to act. On that, Mr. Speaker, we agree. Alberta has the second highest insurance rates in this country. On average, the lowest rates can be found in Quebec, where drivers pay approximately $500 a year less than drivers in Alberta. To put that into perspective, $500 a year is 2/3 of the tax changes for those earning over $60,000 a year in Budget 2025. So 2/3 of those tax changes already erased from what we pay in auto insurance. Or, put another way, that $500 makes up 25% of the monthly AISH payments received by Albertans who cannot work. Those payments that we're so incredibly proud of that maybe allow somebody to buy auto insurance, probably not. That $500 is also approximately equal to how much an Albertan would pay for groceries in a month. So, Mr. Speaker, this is considerable. Before we even begin to look at Bill 47 on its own, in order to achieve the environment insurance companies need, according to them, and changes already introduced by this government, for them to be profitable, we need to increase the premiums for good drivers by 7.5% this year and an additional 7.5% next year. Mr. Speaker, that results in the average Albertan paying another $100 or more this year and an additional $100 or more next. You know, the communications, Mr. Speaker, surrounding this bill are saying that Albertans will save $400 a year when the bill is fully implemented, probably about 2 years from now, probably longer than that. We could talk about that for a while. I'm a little unclear, however, Mr. Speaker, whether or not the $400 that Albertans will be saving is $400 less than what they're currently paying today, or $400 less than what they'll be paying 2 years from now, when we already know that they'll be paying $200 more than they're paying today. If it is $400 below what they're going to be paying in 2 years, I think the communications surrounding the bill are disingenuous. But, Mr. Speaker, let's look at some of the nuts and bolts of the bill. The bill will introduce privately delivered, no-fault insurance in Alberta. As the minister acknowledged, we're heading into new territory, that we haven't seen that anywhere else in Canada. And so we can't really be certain of what the outcomes are going to be. The government has referenced the insurance system in Manitoba as a model that we're following in drafting this legislation and for the benefits that would be paid out for the future auto insurance system here in Alberta. But there is one fundamental difference between Manitoba's system and the system proposed in Bill 47. That fundamental difference is that auto insurance in Manitoba is publicly delivered by a Crown corporation, not by private insurance companies. Bill 47 entrenches the private delivery auto insurance model here in Alberta. And that difference is important. A poll conducted by Ipsos in 2021 found that fewer than 25% of Canadians are satisfied with their insurance provider. People don't trust insurance companies. I think we all know that these days they also don't trust government and they don't trust lawyers, but they don't trust insurance companies, and with good reason. For this reason, the current auto insurance model includes an individual's ability to litigate, because litigation has been necessary, because insurance companies have been well known for denying claims, offering payouts well below the actual benefits for which their clients are eligible. They're well known for cutting short benefits, including physiotherapy. They're well known for requesting clients to have medical assessments conducted by their own doctors and medical staff, which are probably going to make different recommendations than that client's family doctor, if they have a family doctor. How many in this House, Mr. Speaker, I wonder, have heard a story from a family or a friend that is struggling with their insurance company? How many have heard stories about people being denied claims, being cut off from benefits before they'd return to full health, before they have recovered to the point where they can resume work? Alberta today has a mixed tort system to ensure that Albertans receive the benefits that they need to recover from accidents. If private insurance companies were already paying out the benefits that Albertans require to return to health, or to the extent possible return to their normal lives and return to work, if private insurance companies were already doing what we hope them to do in Bill 47, we wouldn't actually need the right to litigate in Alberta. But we do have litigation in Alberta because we don't trust insurance companies. And so this brings us to a question, Mr. Speaker. What makes us believe that insurance companies are ready to change their behavior and turn their current model upside down? As I've said in this House before, private companies have one goal and one goal only: to generate profit for their shareholders. Insurance companies might use words on their website to say their mandate is to serve their clients, or to ensure the well-being of their clients. Or they might advertisement that they're out there to help Albertans. But I think most of us know that the decisions that they are making aren't based on the well-being of their clients. They're based on profitability. The changes to auto insurance in this bill take away the rights of Albertans to litigate for the benefits that they have a right to, and the government has determined that somehow Albertans' insurance premiums are going to go down when we remove the right to litigate. While the government references Manitoba as a model that they are following, they're not mentioning Ontario, which has a hybrid no-fault system. It's the only jurisdiction in Canada where the rates are higher than what we see here in Alberta. So how do we anticipate that removing the right to litigate is going to lower premiums? It seems to me that insurance companies will return to the practice of paying benefits less than what people actually have the right to receive. You see, because the benefits are going to apply, as the minister said in his opening remarks, as required. And who determines those requirements but the insurance companies that are in control of all of this? When it comes to payouts, there's going to be a range of benefits that apply based on the needs of the person who is being injured. And that range is going to be assessed by the insurance companies. And profitability comes from the practice of paying out benefits than what people have the right to receive. It's that delta that allows them to lower their auto insurance ratio. the ratio that is the difference between the average premium paid and the average claim. When auto insurance companies have the ability to increase that delta, we're now going to rely on them to pass those savings along in lower premiums. And Mr. Speaker, we're relying on the Auto Insurance Rate Board that has the role of keeping insurance companies honest and their profits in check. Those current rules hold insurance profits to 6%. But now we also have to ask the question, if profits are currently below 6% and they're permitted to achieve 6%, doesn't that mean that the aforementioned savings won't actually all be passed along to the client, but actually withheld until that insurance company achieves that 6% profit level that is their target? So we're apparently saving Albertans money by taking away their right to seek benefits that they need to recover. It seems the government understands that we can't actually trust insurance companies because this Act creates a tribunal to review insurance company decisions. So it seems it's already embedded here that we don't entrust insurance companies to do what we hope they're going to do because we're creating a tribunal to make sure that they do that. And the minister is going to determine who sits on the tribunal. And I certainly hope that we're going to include members such as judges that have previously heard cases against auto insurance providers to hold them to account. And that I hope that the minister will commit to those tribunal members being focused on the premiums and the benefits provided to Albertans and not just the profits of insurance companies. Mr. Speaker, so now we know there's going to be a tribunal, and who's going to represent the injured as they bring their case to the tribunal? Will the legal profession still be engaged in this process? And who's going to cover those legal costs? If an insurance company is going to end up paying those legal costs that come to the tribunal, are we really saving as much as we think we are? If the tribunal finds that insurance companies aren't actually shifting their model of delivery, that they remain focused on profit, what consequences do they face? What processes are in place for insurers to make this shift to care first and away from profitability? The legislation makes the carrot clear for insurance companies, but what about the stick? Will the tribunal have the ability to levy penalties against insurance companies that have set precedents for not serving their clients? While the Auto Insurance Rate Board regulates the rates charged by insurance companies, the AIRB does not regulate the practice of the insurance industry. The AIRB does monitor the profits earned by insurance companies, but they don't regulate the practices of those insurance companies to achieve those profits. So it seems that the premium savings goal with this bill is spurious. It feels like the benefits Albertans will receive when injured might be no better than they are today. Albertans might not be seeing any savings in their premiums, and they might not be seeing better benefits. Now, what's also curious, I'll throw in here, Mr. Speaker, is that the government of Alberta levies a tax on insurance premiums paid. So the government is actually incentivized by higher premiums because they get a higher tax when they do that. Mr. Speaker, how much time do I have left?
5 minutes and 3 seconds.
Thank you for that precision. So, I'd also like to chat a little bit about so if this looks like it might not actually deliver what we hope that it would deliver, that begs the question what options we might have had in front of us. And the government actually commissioned a report by Oliver Wyman Limited to give some of these suggestions. And there are some recommendations in that report. The report looked at the impact on the cost of average insurance premiums of various auto insurance models. They compared Alberta's tort model for at-fault insurance to systems across several other jurisdictions, including a proposal from the Insurance Bureau of Canada. The report assessed those models and gave kind of the economic impact of each. And some of the findings, Mr. Speaker, are interesting. It found that the greatest cost savings to Albertans would be to switch to a BC model where the public insurer offered both bodily injury and vehicle damage coverage, which would result in premiums of about $1,200 versus the Alberta current system of $2,000. And so, while this report looked at several other jurisdictions and came back with a recommendation that a publicly delivered model would actually serve Albertans the best, this government chose to reject those recommendations and instead tread down a new path, an untested path, a path that doesn't really have the checks and balances in place to really truly protect Albertans and ensure that they're getting lower premiums and better benefits. The report told us that generally public auto insurers have the greatest cost savings to drivers. We do have higher setup costs, but the goal here is lower premiums for Albertans. We do, of course, have to have the conversation around jobs that are currently held by private insurance companies that would likely be replaced then by public servants, jobs that are currently held in the legal profession that may not be translated if in a public system we actually paid out better benefits and it didn't need the litigation that the current system needs. It just seems that the government has put forward this bill not necessarily looking at what their own report told us was best for Albertans. They're putting forward a bill where we're going to trust insurance companies that have a history of not doing what isn't best for their clients. We're putting forward a bill where it's already embedded that we know we can't trust insurance companies because we created a tribunal. We're putting forward a bill where we already know that Albertans over the next 2 years are going to be paying even higher insurance premiums and burdened with those premiums when they're currently feeling the crunch of cost of living. And so, Mr. Speaker, I really think that this bill needs to go back to the drawing board. We can't accept the bill as is. We need to have that consultation, as the minister said, has taken place. I think we need to go back to the drawing board and think of and duly consider what we learned from the report that was commissioned and what we have heard from all of those consultations. And on this side of the House, we have also had extensive consultations around this bill with insurance providers, with insurance brokers, with the Insurance Bureau of Canada, with litigators, with people who have been dealing with insurance companies in their own claims. We think, quite frankly, that we need to pull this bill, go back to the drawing board, start again, and do better for Albertans, Mr. Speaker. And while I have one more minute, I think I will graciously give all of the people here the benefit of stopped hearing my voice and go on to the next voice that is going to rise and talk about this bill and hopefully also share their thoughts on how this bill does not do the best for Albertans, and we can do better, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.